Today's tea is the usual decaf Earl Grey with a little dash of honey to soothe the throat so that I can keep talking. Be a rainbow in someone else's cloud. I like this mug. I like it a lot. Now, howdy, I'm Kelci. I make comics. And today we're making a comic strip for a series that I'm developing called New Punk Signal. New Punk Signal is an offshoot of one of my main comic adventures, Validation. Validation is something that I made in collaboration with C. Baranek. She did the writing, I did the art, but New Punk Signal is something that I'm doing the art and writing for, very similar to how I did the Roxy strips, which there's going to be some exciting things happening with Roxy in the month of April. So keep an eye on my email newsletter for that. This will segue into the pre-stream announcements first. If you would like to know what is up with Roxy and what things that I have lined up for April, you can subscribe to my email newsletter through Linktree/KelseyD. There's also a link in the doobly-doo if you're watching this on YouTube. Other April announcement. I had to think about this. I've been up since like 5 a.m. Excuse me if I seem a little scatterbrained. But April 9th. Yes, April 9th. April 9th, I will be in person at Rathacon in Athens, Ohio. I will be there in person. Doors open at 10 a.m. Safety in mind. They're like masks indoors, be safe, be considerate, all of that jazz. But it is free. I shouldn't say that it's free to the public, but it is open to the public. Also, I will be there. My buddy Ben will be there with his comics related things. There's going to be a bunch of comic artists there. There's also going to be a bunch of illustrators and a bunch of other vendors. It's going to be a great time, I hope. And tomorrow is a new page of my webcomic, The Legend of Jamie Roberts. You can read that through my link tree, or you can just go directly there at thelegendofjamieroberts.com. Link also in the doobly-doo for that. New pages drop every Wednesday. And you noticed if you've been regularly watching my streams, sorry, I didn't mean to bump the microphone, but if you've been regularly watching my streams, you will have seen me draw pages of The Legend of Jamie Roberts. Moving forward, I will probably be streaming, working on Jamie Roberts a little bit less, and streaming other projects that I'm working on just to keep myself accountable for those other side projects, like the Himbo zine that I've been working on for a little while. There's a lot of other projects that I would love to get done. To give you an idea of the other projects, I believe I announced this previously, but I'm going to double check myself so I'm not like contradicting myself or anything. Because I do stream every Tuesday and Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If there's any exceptions to that, I usually announce it on Instagram or on my email newsletter. Okay, that's what I thought. I was double checking my workflow just to make sure that I was doing what I thought I was doing on Saturday. So talking about the other projects, if you would like to see me work on art that is going to double as both puzzle art, like art that's going to be made into a puzzle, like a jigsaw puzzle, and also double as an art piece for a calendar that I'm putting together, that's this Saturday at 2 p.m. Today, I'm just working on New Punk Signal, the comic strip that I'm working on. With that, let's go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to put the link tree back up again, and there. Okay. Now, this is something that I did not realize was a thing with StreamYard, but apparently I can just have Clip Studio Paint, my preferred drawing program of choice, just shown, and I can keep talking, and y'all can still hear me, but I don't have to have the camera up. So But if that changes for any reason, just shout it out in the comments and be like, hey, suddenly your voice just disappeared. But the last time that I streamed, which was this past Saturday, I discovered this little screen trick and was told that everybody could hear me just fine. So we're just going to roll with it. All right, for new punk signal. Okay, I'm going to need to actually bring up comic strips from validation. Unfortunately, I never made a layout of Roxy's apartment, even though I really should have. So I'm going to have to go into the archives for validation and see if I can find the Roxy comic where we see her apartment, even if just briefly, which might take a minute. It's all going to be old. I can tell that. Oh, I think I found it. Oh my God, look at that old ass art. Oh my geez. Okay. Whew. Okay. Now to make this a little easier, I'm going to make a new doc and I'm going to actually have this be square. So 9 by 9, 300 ppi, why not? Paper color, we'll keep it white so that y'all can see it. Boom. Okay. We're going to drag this over here, split the screen, zoom out, and oh, there. Okay. Okay. I was referencing the previous comic strip to be like, was there a was the front door just flat against the wall? Was there a nook that I didn't catch? But no, there was not that. Okay. Okay. Now for this apartment, the door was about. Okay. I have to bring this up. Okay. God dang it. I forgot that Past Me had made Rocky's apartment number 42. My nerd was strong that day. Okay, so we'll put the door here. And Roxy just lives in a studio apartment. It's nothing fancy. It's a one bed. It's like a one room. And everything's in that one room. So... And this is like super loose. Just to help me get an idea of how everything is laid out. Oh, I had put the door there. See, this is why I put the pencils on a separate layer. Okay, the door, put that there. Done. Totally not very feng shui, but it's fine. And then a little day bed there. We'll post. Yeah, and then there's case here, counter here. We'll put the door to the bathroom over here. Fridge. And more counter space. This is honestly like a lot of like good stuff for a studio apartment, honestly. Oh, the counter's not that big. Okay. About Yeah, there. Okay. Oh, that's not even a couch. That's like a love seat. Okay. Well, then we're going to highlight everything, and then we are going to free transform so that we can squeeze. There. That is going to make drawing this first panel of New Punk Signal a little easier because New Punk Signal number 5's first panel takes place in Roxy's studio apartment. I'm going to keep this over here just to have it just in case, because there's a lot of detail in this apartment, notably posters, lots of records and things. But I'm just going to have that there just in case. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Now I'm going to look at the script again. Okay. Super rough, but it's going to work. Okay. And there is storage underneath of the bed. Okay. Widen the bed a little bit. I know it's a day bed, so it's not going to be that big, but still. There-ish? Yeah. Put it there-ish. I don't think the daybed was like super duper elaborate either. Like, okay, yeah. It was like a 4-post, but it didn't have like a backing to it. There was storage under here, so I'll just go ahead and put the boxes there. And this is just the pencil stage. It's going to be like super duper rough until I get the layout done. Okay. Here's the back wall. There's the corner, because this is jammed right up into the corner. Was there a window? There was a window. Okay. I'll put the window there. I'll put that right there. Okay. Is that the only window? That was the only window. Studio apartments. All right. So window there. With Venetian blinds, aka the most annoying blinds that there are. Like, I know how to make them work. I know how to get them to work. They're just a pain in the butt. And posters. So many posters. Okay. I'm actually going to lock the transparent pixel, and I'm going to change some of the colors here so that I can easily distinguish what is Roxy and what is not. Okay, we're going to do pillows here, purple. We'll make the daybed bluish. It's super subtle, but if you look real close, the colors are changing. Oh, unlock the transparent pixels because I need to draw this back corner of the day bed. There, fixed it. Lock them back up again. Okay, and we got that going. Cool. Okay. Oh, just thinking about this. I've been running a poll on Patreon, and I'll get into the backstory for that in a little bit, but I'm running a poll on Patreon to gauge what it is that folks would like to see offered on my Patreon page. So far, eking out by just one vote is the option of making it a like art club, because currently it's functioning as a sticker of the month club where patrons who give X amount each month get stickers mailed to them each month. And one of the options in the poll was asking, would you like to make this just an art club, not just keep it at stickers? And so far, that has the most votes. And if you're watching this for the first time, you might be wondering, why the heck are you offering a art club if you're drawing like this? First of all, these are pencils, so they're not going to be super duper polished. Secondly, I do have more polished art pieces that you can see at kelcidcrawford.com. You can look at my previous live streams for evidence of that. Oh, unlock the transparent pixels. That'll make drawing the arms a little easier. Okay, we'll put the phone. Oh, lock them up again. We're going to make this phone bright ass pink. How come you're not drawing in the transparent pixels? Did something happen? Clip Studio Paint. What is the meaning of this? All right, we'll just do it this way. Okay, wrist joint there, elbow here. And that gives me placement of the elbow. I said elbow twice. I drew a line connecting the shoulder and the wrist. And from that line, I drew a perpendicular line. And that perpendicular line was where I put the elbow. A little clarification for anybody who is just listening and not watching. I don't mind if you lurk while I work. Okay. That gets the layout for that. And I'm pretty sure I did actually do a layout of Allie's room. This is where Allie makes a cameo. But I'm not going to get too detailed with Allie's room, because in Allie's room, we only realistically see like one angle. I mean, there's a couple other angles in the early comic strips that you get to see her in, but there's really only one that matters. Doo-doo-doo. Oh, it's coming back to me. I've drawn this particular pose for Allie so many times. Oh, I was thinking that foot was too big. Okay. The twist with this particular panel is that instead of typing away on her laptop, she's texting. Highly unusual move for the alligator as she sits on her bed. Because she's usually typing while sitting on her bed. Not this time. Let's clean this up a wee bit. That's better. Right now, I'm just doing rough layouts. I'm not going to draw finer details like facial expressions quite yet. I just want to make sure that I get everything laid out. I'm going to transform that with the free transform tool. Nah, we're not going to keep that. Let's make it in. Let's make the edits in purple. Okay, well, nice thing about digital is we can rotate the canvas. I would like to apologize. I forgot to apologize for this sooner, but if you can hear beeping or rumblings or anything like that, Alex turned on either the washer or the dryer before leaving for work today. And sorry if you can hear the thudding. Oh, catching up on comments. Good to see you, Chloe. And good to see you, Carlos, and Arch of Winter. Although no detention. I am not in school anymore. I don't have to. Oh, no, you're yelling at the Los. Go right ahead. But Carlos did bring donuts. No detention for him. He was fine. No worries. You're not late for anything. You're good. Also, Chloe, to answer your question, I am doing pretty okay. All things considered, even though I got up at 5 in the morning. But, Bree actually let me sleep the night through, which is shocking. She usually wakes me at like 4:30 scratching the walls. Not today. Oh, speaking of, one second. That whirring noise is my stand-up desk getting into sitting position. I was standing because Bree had stolen my seat and I didn't want to kick her out. So I just put the desk into standing position and just started working. Now she's not in the seat, so I can sit down, which is good. I've been on my feet for like 4.5 hours. Okay. The bed. I'm gonna make the bed pencils like a bright ass pink. Oh, hold on. We gotta account for the pillow. There is always a pillow. It's Allie, so it's gonna be a big, boofy, like squishy pillow. I mean, nice and comfy. The reason she can get all those big chunky pillows is because she doesn't have a car. Oh, if I really wish that the United States was a lot friendlier to pedestrians and people who rode their bikes so that it would be less car dependent. I would love it if there was less car dependency around here, but alas. The further west you get, the more car dependent things become. It's really annoying. Oh, we have to have Mr. Dino. I'm going to draw him in green. We have to have Mr. Dino. I mean, we're sitting with Allie here. Mr. Dino has to be present. We're still looking for a plushie maker. But plushie maker, I mean, it's some place that can mass produce a bunch of Mr. Dino plushies. I do appreciate that there are sites like CrowdMade, but CrowdMade is more for people who already have like large YouTube followings to make their own merch, not necessarily for like little YouTubers like me who have less than 1,000 followers or less than 1,000 subscribers. Yes, absolutely. Give me regional rails. I would love that. Oh, you have any idea how many more conventions I could go to if there were more regional rails? I would love that. Oof. My sympathies. My cat Gigi wakes me up at 5 a.m. by scratching my head. Oh, sympathies, Chloe. Yikes. Oh, yes. Okay, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one that watches Not Just Bikes on YouTube, because there was a stretch of time where I was watching a bunch of those Not Just Bikes YouTube videos and just looking at like city planning and like European cities versus US and Canada cities, and it makes me so irrationally angry that we don't have more bicycle friendly cities in the United States. Bullet train system when USA, when they actually invest in the rail system. Good luck with that. The rail system is used by the poor. We don't like poor things in America. I think it was John Steinbeck who said that every American thinks they are not poor, they are temporarily embarrassed millionaires, and never has a truer statement been said. Because nobody in America wants to admit that they're poor. But the reality is, we're mostly poor. There was another person who had described it as America is a third world country with a Gucci belt, which they're not wrong. Okay, there is a headdress with, or like a head banister on Allie's bed. I can't remember how tall it is, but about there-ish, I think. Because like it came up to a certain point in her head, but didn't completely cover her head. And back corner of the wall there, because it's jammed up in the corners. And there is a window. We don't see it very often, but there is a window. Okay. So we got the layout for that. I'm trying to leave a lot of room because they're going to be, by they, I mean Roxy and Allie, are going to be texting back and forth, and I want to make sure that there's ample room for the text bubbles. Ooh. I would love more details on this. Ohio just announced they want to look into building a statewide rail network again. That would be nice. I did see a headline saying they were looking into building a rail from Toledo to Columbus again, which that would be really nice. Carlos, I mean, when my pyramid scheme pays off, I mean, yeah. Is that why you post so much about pizza? Is it secretly a pizza shaped pyramid scheme this whole time? Is that what's going on? Gigi would be a good alarm clock if I could remember to actually get up and stay up. Yeah, it took me a while to get my body used to the idea of getting up on the first alarm ring. Part of making that transition successfully was just going to bed at a decent time so I could get the amount of sleep that I needed. Because part of the reason that I, myself at least, would hit the snooze button was because I felt like I wasn't getting enough sleep, and I thought that hitting the snooze button would help. It did not. It would honestly be a lot more restful if you just set the alarm for like the latest time that you need to be up, and then just have that go off at the latest time that you need to be up. That way you're not interrupting the last half hour to an hour of your sleep with constant alarms. That was something that when I came across it, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to make the adjustment. And that meant going to bed early, or at least earlier than I had been. And that was an adjustment, but honestly, worth it. Because I like being able to sleep straight through the entire night, except when Brie scratches the walls. Part of that, though, is just Brie has adapted to a particular schedule of mine. The particular schedule that she adapted to was the work schedule that I had when Christmas season was in place at the craft store that I work at. Because when Christmas season was in full swing, I would have to get up at 5 a.m. to get to the store by 6 a.m. So Brie was just used to me getting up at 5 a.m. pretty consistently for like a month and a half. And then she just stuck to it. Even though I don't really have to go into work at 6 a.m. anymore because it's not the holiday season. She has not adapted to this. Yeah, this helps too. My trick is to put my alarm where I need to physically leave my bed to turn off. That was what got me through high school. Was I put my alarm on the opposite side of the room. My room was fairly small in high school, but it still worked. Putting the alarm on the opposite side of the room so that I had to get out of bed and then turn it off, that got me up. Can't necessarily implement that in my current apartment setup because it's just more convenient with where the outlets are placed to have the alarm clock where it is, which is right next to my bed. But again, I've gotten really good into the habit of getting up when the alarm goes off and not hitting to hit snooze. I was going to look at the script because I need to see. I have an idea of. Okay. I was like, I have an idea of what I need to draw for panel 3, but I want to double check so I'm not drawing the wrong thing. I'm just thinking about the best angle to draw it at. Okay. Again, we're not getting super detailed. We're not going to draw facial expressions yet. Put the window there. I think it was there. Oh, the pillows. I'm going to draw the pillows in purple. Okay, back to green. Wait, pink, because the phone. Okay, back to green. Oh, wow, that is a mangled thumb. Hold on. Rotate the canvas. Okay. Okay, gonna do this trick again to determine elbow placement. Ooh. I screwed up this torso. Jeez. Time to rotate the canvas so that I can fix my mistakes. Oh, Lord. Ooh, flip the canvas. That'll help. I'm just going to use the lasso tool to select this big old area and delete. Okay, that'll work. Oh, Carlos, I think you got my message already, but I did enter the lottery for Small Press Expo. For anybody who's watching this, if you would like to get a table at Small Press Expo, they decide who gets to table by lottery. And the lottery to get a table at Small Press Expo is open now and expires on 30th of this month. So you have about a week left. Super easy to enter into. Boop, boop. There. Oh my gosh, that looks so much better. Oh my jeebies. And yes, Roxy is basically shredded. I mean, she's a roller derby girl. She's got to be buff. Okay, that window can move over a touch. Okay, had to trace that marquee tool line really carefully. So where it needs to go? About there. Okay. Venetian blinds. There, to get the idea across. I am not drawing them individually at the moment. Lord. Oh, okay. Finer detailed pencils, I think I'm going to do in black. That way they can stand out from the color. Now, Roxy hasn't done up her hair yet, so it's going to be a lot more relaxed in this panel. She hasn't gotten ready for the day yet. We get to see a wild Roxy in her domestic situation. Unusual and unheard of. Oh, yes, checking out comments. Carlos, you bring a good point. Also, if you can't table, I recommend going anyway if you feel safe. Yes, I do recommend going if you feel safe enough to do so. I can tell you, even if I was not a vendor, I would find a way to go to Small Press Expo anyway, because it's just a great time. We'll see how things play out, though. I will say, if I get into Small Press Expo again, I'm going to find a way to get there by train. Because, Lord, I don't have the energy to do like cross-country driving trips again. I used to be able to in my 20s, but now I'm like, oh God, I'm encroaching 33 in August. Oh, that's a weird feeling to sit with. But it's like, you know, I can't really do long distance drives anymore. I used to be able to. Now I can't. I'm just too tired. And honestly, if other people can do the getting me there for me, I will happily jump on the offer. which is another reason we need to have better rail systems in the United States. I've only ridden the train once. And thankfully, not too many problems with that one train trip, which is surprising because my buddy CB, who co-created Validation with me, as my neighbor stomps around upstairs, although it shouldn't be the neighbor. It should be the handyman, because the upstairs neighbors moved out, and the handymen have been doing a lot of repair. Like, they've just been ripping things out. Trains, right. I've only ridden the train once from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia. Great trip. And it has like the historic Horseshoe Bend, which is a landmark, apparently. Had a great time. The Philadelphia train station, ballin'. Absolutely ballin'. But I do wish that, you know, trains had, you know, it's not an accessibility issue. Well, it is kind of an accessibility issue. I wish that they went more places. Because, like, Amtrak did used to run to Columbus. It does not. They're looking to open roads back up again, but I don't know. I don't know how soon that's going to happen. Oh no, did I make torso extra long again here? Oh Lord, I think I did. Oh geez, I'm gonna have to fix that. Oh geez. All right, fine. So one corner of her abs. Okay. Flip the canvas to make sure that, you know, things are proportional. Oh, okay. That explains that. Half of these pencils are on the panel layer, even though they really shouldn't be. That explains a lot. Oh my God, I did not know that. Toledo used to have streetcars that went all the way down to Findlay. I wouldn't mind a hopping between lines if they exist. Oh my God, that sounds stellar. That reminds me, there are streetcars that run from Santa Fe to Albuquerque still, the last time that I heard. So, like, glad for that at least. But, oh, yeah, absolutely. Wrong layers, the curse of all digital artists. Yes, and that would explain why the block transparent pixels trick was not working earlier. How? Okay. A good chunk of the pencils were drawn on the panel layer. I'm going to zoom out completely and just see how much of the pencils. Okay. Wait, that's all the pencil layer. Oh. Ah! Aha, 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 aha. Okay. Well, it's not as bad as I thought it was. So we are going to rectangle tool, and we are going to get just within the rectangle of this panel and select and cut and paste. There. I'm going to move this to the layer above pencils, turn the panel layer off. That way it's just this copy that I just cut and the pencil layer, and Control E, that merges the two. Done. All right. Now for the panels, I'm going to lock this layer. That should help. Have a sip of my tea. All right. Okie dokie, we're gonna zoom in on this wonky little leg, and we're gonna erase this wonky little leg, and we're gonna redraw it so it's not so wonk. And people tell me that I couldn't sing. By people, I mean my siblings. Admittedly, when I was younger, I was not a great singer. I remember one distinct karaoke gig because I don't talk about him very much, but my idiot father was a DJ at one point in his lustrous career. But he was a DJ at one point, and one time when we were visiting him, we went to one of these DJing gigs, and he DJ'd a lot of karaoke stuff, primarily country, because that was his favorite kind of music, and whatever his favorite kind of music was the music that he played, for better or for worse. But he did have like pop and classic rock in his lineup, and one of those songs was one of my favorite songs, which was Don't Stop Believing by Journey. And then I sang along with it. And as a teenager, I tried to hit the high notes, and I made the mic squeak. And I feel like it is that memory that makes my siblings go, no, you can't sing, actually. And I'm like, don't judge a person by what they sounded like when they were like 15 years old and didn't know any better. I like to think that I have improved. Okay, I'm going to outline the end of the bed here to the best of my ability. I'm going to have to go back with another tool to select a few things. Because we're going to transform it. Okay, we're going to hit Selection Pen, and we're going to hit the Shift key and incorporate some of the spots that I missed. Okay, free transform, and we are going to drag. Maybe drag a little bit more. Yes, we're going to apply the transformation. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, we'll put it about there. Oh, that requires moving the window, actually, because using this as reference. Okay. Yeah, we're going to move the posters in the window. Get back the lasso tool, and we're going to circle around a little and see, this is why I like working digitally in the pencil stage, because you can do stuff like this and not have to erase and redraw the entire freaking thing. It's really nice. Okay, with that requires moving the window in this panel, which I can do because it's all digital. It's so nice. Okay. I think it was about there. A little more. Okay. Yes. Excellent. Good. Okay, there was a bed sheet. We're going to incorporate the bed sheet. Want to know what the funny thing is? There's this thing in college culture that like all college students have to have futons. I never had one because I had a futon in high school, and that was enough experience for me to know that I never wanted to sleep on a futon ever again. Ooh, I'm going to draw the skirt in a different color. Let's do this one. Because she punk. She wears a skirt that has an uneven edge. Okay. Now for Allie. Little alligator over here. Save progress. Very important to save your progress as you go. You're not wrong. Arch of Winter, same here. Growing up poor means knowing American futons are absolutely the worst. I've never actually slept on a Japanese futon. I wish to know the difference between the two. Because, like, having slept on American futons and then having watched Spirited Away, I know that Spirited Away is realistically a commentary on capitalism and how capitalism turns people into just cogs in a machine. So, screw comfort of the cogs in the machine. And yet, I watch the scenes where, like, Chihiro/Sen wakes up on a futon in a room surrounded by other futons, and I'm like, how are any of these people sleeping comfortably? But this is having slept on American futons for all 4 years of my high school career, which explains why I was miserable in high school. There were other factors that led to me being absolutely miserable in high school, but that was a big one. I never got any sleep because of that and the fact my house was haunted. That's a story for, if you would like me to elaborate on that, I could totally elaborate on that. But yes, the house that I lived in high school was definitely haunted. I still have nightmares about it. It's really unfortunate. They're not frequent, but when they happen, I'm like, oh, I know what house I dreamt about. I don't even need to look at any pictures of Allie. I know how to draw her. Like, yes, it has been a hot minute since I had to draw any comic strips for validation, but I have drawn this woman so many freaking times. Another sip of tea. I might have to heat up some more water for another cup. We shall see. Rotate the canvas because I want to draw a decent ass hand over here. For anybody who has seen Worthy Kids, I just had the short that Worthy Kids did involving the witches talking about Tinder. That just popped into my head like, Miriam, over here. You must look at this incredible app I have downloaded. Oh, catching up on comments. Sleeping on Japanese futon is sleeping on the floor, flat and comfortable. Sleeping on American futon is sleeping on a metal rib cage, making zero position comfortable. Fact. Yeah. Although, to me, sleeping on the floor is not comfortable. But that it could be because of an injury that I had sustained in 8th grade. So, funny story. I feel like I've regaled this story a few other times, but I'll go ahead and share it again if I've shared it again before. But when I was in 8th grade, I went to a school in the middle of bumfuck Egypt, Ohio, where the playset had not been updated since like 1973. Uh-oh. Something happened. Okay. Whew. But like the school area had not been updated since 1973. So everything was made of concrete and metal bars and chains. So I guess their logic was, children are made of rubber. They'll bounce in regards to having everything be made of concrete. But the area underneath the like monkey bars, concrete. The areas underneath of the swing sets, concrete or dirt, just straight up compacted dirt. Any place else, like the areas around the seesaws, concrete. And keep in mind too, the swing sets are like, because the set was built in like 1973, the swing sets were like, I don't know, 12 feet high. So you could get some serious height swinging on those things. And in 8th grade, I was having a swinging contest with another group of kids, and we were swinging really high. And we were doing this thing where if we swung in just the right way, the chains could like kind of rumble a little bit. And we were having a great time. And then at the very apex of the swing, which keep in mind, this is 12 feet. At the apex, at 12 feet, the chain on my swing snapped and I fell and landed on hard-ass concrete on my back. So I got a concussion, for one, and for another, my tailbone straight up snapped in half like a twig. And I had to be rushed to the hospital, and I could hear people panic. I could feel 2 people carrying me to the office where somebody called the emergency room. I remember my friend Mikkel sitting next to me and being like, is Kelci going to be okay? And everybody being like, well, something definitely broke. And I'm just like, I hurt so much. And then the x-rays came in and they were like, yeah, your tailbone is thoroughly broken. You're going to have to sit on this like rubber donut for the next month. And even then, it's not going to be completely healed. And lo and behold, my tailbone has never fully healed. So if I sit for long periods of time, my tailbone will just be like, okay, you're done. And I'll have to get up and stretch and move around a little bit. I still cannot sleep on my back comfortably unless I lay a certain way. But I don't usually sleep on my back anyway, because like that's when the nightmares come in. I get the most nightmares whenever I sleep on my back. It's a thing. It's also like scientifically proven that more people get nightmares when they're sleeping on their backs. Can't tell you why. Well, I mean, I probably could tell you why, but it'll sound like hippy dippy woo woo. Funny story about that, because Archer of Winter is asking, did your family sue management? That was actually a really big talking point. And that was like one of the things that my mom discussed openly with the school, because the school was like, please tell us you're not going to sue us. And mom was like, you guys have no money. I'm not going to sue you, but I would ask that you put some funding towards funding a new playground so that this doesn't happen again. So there were some fundraisers to fundraise for a new place area, and about 2 years later, they got a new playground. But you know, this was, again, bumfuck Egypt, Ohio, and this was like middle of nowhere, and the population was like 200 if you squinted. So of course there wasn't going to be any kind of school funding to speak of. So no, I wasn't going to sue anybody for having been injured. It was just how things were. Even if I did sue, I don't think I would have gotten anything out of it. And my family didn't really have the means to like take anybody to court. I also think, if I remember my timeline correctly, mom was already in court over a different lawsuit. They should name the playground after you. They probably should. Unfortunately, the school is no longer in operation. It became a community center. Because the population shrank so much, they just consolidated the grade school and high school and put them into the same building, because that's a smart idea. Put kindergartners in the same building as 12th graders. Genius. The decisions that management makes. Anyways, I'm drawing pamphlets, so give me a second while I build the mental connection to the next topic. Oh God, what was I talking about? I was talking about something. Okay. I was talking about injuries, not suing the school. Oh, right. Mom was already, if I remember my timeline correctly, I think mom was already in court over a different lawsuit. Because mom, grace bless her, if I may, she's not been in very many car accidents, but the ones that she has been in involve either accidentally backing into a tree or accidentally backing into the school bus, because that happened once. And the only other accident that she ever had was, I think this was when she was working a job that necessitated driving across the state a bunch. I'm not going to get into too many details about it, because I'm already divulging a lot of details about my life. And I don't want people to think that that's permission enough to use that information to track me down and find where I live. But she was working a job that necessitated driving across the state a bunch, and she was running late for an appointment, and she hit an ambulance. And the guy who was in the ambulance was being treated for a heart attack. And so he took mom to court saying that she was making his condition worse. Realistically, the court case dragged out entirely too long, because the dude just really wanted money. And I don't remember how it settled, but eventually it did settle. It took a number of years to settle, but it did eventually resolve itself. But it is kind of funny to me that, you know, mom has not been in like that many car accidents, but the ones that she has been in have been striking public vehicles of one sort or another. All right, I'm going to put the main pencil layer different from Mr. Dino, because Mr. Dino, I'm going to pencil him, and then I need to erase some lines underneath his detailed layer so that it's not just a jumbled mess. Here we go. Oh, no, geez. Okay. I hate it when Clip Studio Paint does that. I'll be working, and then all of a sudden the scroll bar will just jump me in one direction or another. And I'm like, really? Really? I don't need this. There. Polished it up. Yeah, looking at the comments. I noticed this in another building that I had gone to that was a middle school and high school jammed together. K through 12 school campus can work. I went to a kindergarten and first 2 years of elementary that's connected to the high school. All three departments are separated and are not allowed to go to the other. Yeah, the one school that I had stopped at that had the middle school and high school jammed together into the same building, they actually had like um, I don't want to necessarily say security, but they did have the security locks in place to keep the two separated, which I could appreciate that. At the same time, it just adds to the layer of schools feeling like a prison. Okay. I think that will work for Allie's. I mean, let's add a little more detail for the bed sheet here, but that'll work for that. And now to draw Roxy. There we go. That was the facial expression I wanted. Because, like, well, the eyebrows could be a little different. Not necessarily miffed, but like, because like what she's texting here is, we're an indie band, Allie. We're not exactly rolling in dough here. So I wanted a face to convey that. In the messaging and texting scenes, in validation and invalidation side adventures, I try to keep it so that if there is texting back and forth between two characters, that I have the camera, so to speak, relatively close up on the facial expressions of the characters in the conversation. And then that way you can see some visual cues of what it is that they're thinking of, but how that comes across in their facial expressions. So I try to keep that in mind whenever I draw these kinds of scenes. Okay, I keep hearing Discord going off, so I'm gonna see if somebody's trying to like message me some cues. Oh, okay. No, that's a conversation that has to wait. That's connected to the podcast that I'm a part of, the Fourth Leg. We're putting together a special project, and we've been messaging back and forth about it. I'll go ahead and mention the special project because it was announced at the end of the latest episode of the podcast. We're doing an actual play, which means, okay, I'm going to bring this up, but if you've seen Critical Role is an actual play show. So the podcast gang and I are putting together an actual play show where we're playing a game that's powered by the apocalypse. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail because I can't remember what detail that we went into at the end of the episode when we announced that we were doing the actual play. So I will keep a lot of the details about the actual game under wraps for now. But know that it will be coming. We're going to be recording the first episode of the actual play soon because we did a play test already just to test the audio and make sure that everything was working all hunky-dory and all that. And to get a feel for our characters, I love the character. Excuse me, had to burp. I love the character that I am role-playing as, and I am so looking forward to all of you meeting him. He is marvelous, and I love him. And yes, I will be role-playing as a dude in this actual play because, you know, my background is as a game master. I'm used to playing multitudes of characters of multitudes of gender identities. But also, I wanted to play a vampire. I had a vampire character in mind, and I'm so glad that I get to role play as him. He's great. I love him to bits. I will say, for anybody who has not played a Powered by the Apocalypse system, I thought that it would be a lot harder to adapt to after having played Dungeons and Dragons since, oh God, 2016 or so? 2015, 2016. So about 7 years. I've been playing that. But Powered by the Apocalypse is surprisingly easy to adapt to. It is very story driven. Like it's basically you are role playing a movie, is what Powered by the Apocalypse is. But it does make the process easier to role play. Ooh, good question, Carlos. Will there be audio and visual or just audio? This one, I believe, is just going to be audio. Because we are primarily a podcast, but there may be visual components, like we're figuring out some character art for our characters. We'll see about like if there's going to be a video component to this or not, but from what I remember and what we've discussed, we're keeping it just audio for now. Oh, yes. Can't wait. I hope there'd be art of the party. Yes, there will be art of the party. However, surprisingly, in a twist of fate, I will not be drawing it. Largely because one of the other party members jumped at the chance before I could vocalize anything. And I was like, okay, if you want to do it, go right on ahead. Saves me a ton of energy. So I'm not going to complain about it. But we may have some back and forths because she's going to be drawing a character whom I have some idea of who I want him to look like. So it'll be interesting to have the back and forth. Ooh, let me flip the canvas. Okay. I'm really looking forward to the podcast though. Like, and I really hope that y'all are too. And I hope that you're looking forward to the absolutely bananas characters that we will be playing as, because it's not just going to be me. Yes, party art in the house tonight. Maybe not exactly tonight because the artist does have a day job, but as close to tonight as we can manage. That hand still looks stupid. Let's just make a new layer, put this original pencil layer at 35% and just draw again. Okay. Phone. 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 Yep, 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 yep. Little Martians from early Muppets for you. Ooh, let me flip the canvas. That'll make drawing the thumb a little easier. You know, I've never actually been to a goth night, but when I heard that the goth night in my old college town opened their dance floor with the Muppet Show theme song, I went, I have to get to one of these shows sometime. I cannot express how happy it makes me that goth people love the Muppets. It makes me so unreasonably happy. That's better. That's better. We'll move the phone over again. Now, I did not find out about this until fairly recently, but StreamYard, this streaming platform of choice that I use, does allow for video downloads. And I want to give that a try sometime because that would make recording and showing speed paints a lot more dynamic than just exporting it straight from Clip Studio Paint. Sorry, I had to take a second to look at the comments. I wonder if goth nights are still a thing. Are goths still popular now? I mean, I wish I could give you an answer. The thing is that I have a fairly good finger on the goth pulse, as it were. I can't say if they're quote unquote popular or not, but I can tell you that there's a sizable community of them on Instagram still. And there is a big overlap with the Lolita community for obvious reasons, because Goth Lolita is a thing, and it is still a thing. In fact, International Lolita Day was fairly recently, and a number of old college buddies of mine were not just tweeting about it, but making Instagram posts about it. And just showing off their cool goth Lolita looks. And I'm like, oh, this is marvelous, yes. I'm so happy that they're doing that sort of thing. And okay, good. Okay, good. The hand does not look so mangled. Huzzah. Oh. Okay. Draw this in blue. One pinky up because Roxy is a classy lady. I've never actually been to a goth night, just for some clarification, but I have a number of friends who were and still are active in the scene. So there is a scene for goth stuff still. You can expand that arm. Not the chest, the arm. There. We're gonna free transform and we're gonna extend it outwards to about there. Okay. Gonna erase some lines. Whoop. Next step, merging the layers. Oh God, before I do that, I gotta erase some of the original arm. Oh God, not that layer. This one. The curse of different layers yet again. Doo-doo-doo. Okay. Better. Merge it down. Save. Active goth as opposed to the passive goth. The darkness is great, I guess. Oh, what else would a passive goth even do? They're so passive. As opposed to the active goth. Active goths are just punks. They're goths wearing black. Goth did start as a subculture within punk, and punk was already a subculture of its own. This is true. There are sleeper goths. Neutral goths. Oh God, chaotic neutral goth. That's a D&D character waiting to happen. Chaotic neutral goth. Skirt. That's my onomatopoeia whenever I have to draw a skirt. Skirt. Cool. The pencils are done. Huzzah. Or at least the majority of the pencils are done. I still need to get some of the details, like the posters. Okay, there's a Dead Kennedys poster, Care Bears on Fire. These are actual punk bands, by the way. These are not made up. By the way, Care Bears on Fire. Good stuff. Okay, cool. Wanted to move this so that these two were like next to each other. Cool. Okay. And oh, Dead Kennedy's poster needs to be taller. I have a sticker on my sketchbook because I'm one of those people that covers my sketchbooks in stickers, and that's how I differentiate between one year and the other with my sketchbook collection that I have. But I have a sticker that I already put on my most recent sketchbook that's a Dead Kennedys, and it says Nazi punks fuck off. And that summarizes my attitude entirely. Sorry, I'm catching up on comments. We're still talking about different forms of golf. Roll for eh. Ooh, that's a good question. How useful would pre-drawing blank backgrounds so you can reuse them, or will it limit your creativity? Blank as in not filled with characters. It depends on the angle. It depends on the angle of the background. To an extent, I did this with The Legend of Jamie Roberts, particularly the Palace of Maliwe, or at least the Chief's House of Maliwe. I have the actual facade of it saved as a separate file so that whenever I'm drawing the facade of the Palace of Maliwe, I can just copy, paste, and transform it to whatever angle that I need to and work with it that way. And that does help. Honestly, anything that helps and makes things faster to do helps the creativity and does not necessarily hinder it. That said, this is not something that works for everything. There are going to be some backgrounds that I cannot just copy paste. I have to work with whatever angle that I have the characters at. So yes and no. Like, yes, it does make life so much easier and it does save my creative energy, because what creativity is just energy to do things. That said, sometimes having preset backgrounds is limiting, because sometimes you want to draw a particular angle, but the reference that you are using does not have that angle, so you're going to have to draw it anyway. Honestly, Dead Kennedys have one of the most genius punk logos. There. Oh, that's a window. I'm going to make that a little more evident that that's a window. I don't think I have any posters like in that. Oh, I have one. I have no idea what poster that was supposed to be for. NGE. Okay. Best guess. I'm going to have to look that up later. But this will work. And that's a brick wall. That is definitely a brick wall. You could say there's another brick in the wall. Part 2! Oh, speaking of like things that would make life a lot easier, a brick wall texture. A brick wall texture would make this a fuck ton easier. I'm gonna have to see about making one of those. I have an idea of how to do that because I have a reference image of a brick wall saved already. Assets shop time. No kidding. Why do you think I make so many of my own brushes? If you self-plug, if you would like to see me make other brushes, check out my previous live streams on YouTube. Okay, I'm done. Okay. I think I'm going to make another cup of tea. I'm down to my last sip. So I'm going to switch this over here and get this on the bigger screen so everybody can see the progress that's been made. And I'm going to stir up the kettle. Boom. Oh, I have a banner for this. There we go. Be right back, y'all. Riri, you better not steal my seeds. I know I got that. That is not permission for you to take my seeds. Good baby. Thank you for not taking my seat. Oh, are you cold? Do you need snuggles? I just wanted to pet you while you were done. Such a neurotic baby. Okay. Well, the kettle is going to need reheating. So it's going to be another 10 to 15 minutes before I get my next cup. Sadly. Oh, I'm going to put on a hoodie, though. I am very cold. Okay. Hoodie acquired. Done. Cool. Oh, earlier I had mentioned, because I'm looking at my banners, earlier I mentioned that there was a poll going on Patreon where you could vote for what you would like to see me offer on Patreon. Here's the link for that. tinyurl.com/Patreon-survey. I'll go ahead and leave that up for a little bit while I talk. Talk and draw. Draw and talk. Wait for tea to get ready. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Now that we have this, what I usually do is I save a version of this for CB to see, because I like to keep her posted on the progress that I'm making and, get her approval, see if there's anything about it that needs changed or anything like that. So we're going to need to make a version, usually smaller. So, excuse me, so that she can upload it and not have it break her browser. Okay. We got that done. I'm going to save this in Sketches. Ooh. Okay, we got that saved. And we're going to X out of this one. Okay. Well, trying to think of what else I can show you. Oh, I know what I can show you. I can show you something that I finished up this morning. Because I would bring up the Legend of Jamie Roberts' latest page that I'm working on, but I'm starting to touch into some spoiler territory with these latest pages of Jamie Roberts that I'm working on, so I'm not going to be bringing that up yet. What I will bring up instead is something that I finished this morning, because I'm super excited about this. This is going to look a little strange because this is a print file and it has not been assembled into its final form yet, but this is the print file of my Himbos zine. I put together a little fanzine full of himbos and I love it so much. Look at these himbos. Look at them! So much muscle! And we're going to flip the canvas 180 so you can see the rest of them. Yes. Look at them. Look at these beefy boys. Yes. I am so pleased with how this little zine came out. The reason that it looks the way that it does currently is because it has been printed yet. Once a folding method that I do, hold on, screen's doing something wonky. Woo, okay. The screen was doing something weird for a second, but once I get it to print, I have a cutting and folding method that will actually make this look like a little book, or at least a little like pocket book. So, oh yes, absolutely needs more beef. Like it could always use more beef. There will be more himbos. This is not the only himbo zine that I am putting together. There will be more himbos. This is just volume 1. But I don't want to spoil that yet. We're just going to call it Himbos, a fanzine. When we get to volume 2, it'll be Himbos, a fanzine, volume 2. And I can hear the kettle about to go off, so BRB, fetching tea. Okay. The tea needs to steep. I put a cup of Tazo glazed lemon loaf with a dash of honey to steep, and it's going to take another 5 minutes for it to get ready. Need catchy sequel name. We already have one. Needs more beef. Or we could call it Where's the Beef? Call back to the old ass Wendy's commercial. Where's the beef? Oh, wait, I'm showing off the Patreon link. There we go. Okay. Funny enough, there is an option in the Patreon poll to say, nothing, I don't like Patreon. So it's there if you need to make your opinion known. But let me know what you would like to see me offer on Patreon by going to tinyurl.com/Patreon-survey. Okay. But yes, I'm so happy with how the Himbos zine volume 1 turned out. So yes. It's actually the first zine that I've published since, 2018, I want to say. 2018, 2019. Let me look at my little folder where I keep all of my mini comics and zines. Yeah, 2018. 2018 was the last zine year. That was the last year that I put together a zine. Wow. Sequel names: Two Beef, Two Himbos. Two Himbos, Two Beef. Focused on himbo rivals. Yes. Oh my God, himbo rivals. Ah! Oh my God. You and your genius ideas, man. I don't know how you do it. Okay. We really only have like 10 minutes left to the stream. If you've got any last minute questions that you want to get out there, now is the time to get them out. Because I can show off other projects that I'm working on now that the Himbos zine is pretty much done. I'm trying to think of what else. I'm going to look at my Trello and see what else there is. Oh, I got to ship some books out. The spot illustrations for something. There's PuzzleSpell. Yes. I'll go ahead and mention this here. So PuzzleSpell is a webcomic that I had been posting updates on through my email newsletter and on Ko-fi. Right now, updates are on pause so that I can make the ending that it needs and have the time to do that. Because a fun fact about PuzzleSpell, I had been working on that comic without a buffer and just posting it as things got done. Now I want to take my time making the ending that it needs. So that is why I put pauses on public updates of PuzzleSpell. Oh, Carlos, I am off to walk. Great stream. Thank you, my dude. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy your walk. Try to stay dry. I don't know if it's raining where you're at right now, but it's overcast and raining where I'm at. So just be safe. I was going to say something, and I don't remember what it was. I was going to say I could show off the script for New Punk Signal, but good. It's sunny. That's good. Good. I'm glad that it's sunny. Take advantage of that walk then. Thank you for the stream. Well, thank you for joining in. I suppose now's a good time to wrap up, so I'll go ahead and just boop, back to my face. Okay. Angle it just right. Okay. Post-stream announcements. There is a survey on Patreon. The link is on the screen right now. Go there. Let me know what you would like to see me offer on Patreon. I try to change it up every once in a while. I was going to get into the story of why I have a Patreon and a Ko-fi at the same time. For the longest time, Patreon was where I housed all of my behind-the-scenes comics stuff. Then I switched from Patreon to Ko-fi for that sort of thing. Then, as the Ko-fi was getting running and it was picking up steam and all that, I decided to reopen Patreon, but offer something different through Patreon, which was the Sticker of the Month Club. Now, one of the options in the poll for what would you like to see me offer on Patreon, one of the options is to just continue the Sticker Club. The other options include making it just a general art club, having me teach you various things about making art. Whatever it is that you would like to see me offer on Patreon, the polls are open now. tinyurl.com/Patreon-survey. Link is also going to be in the YouTube doobly-doo. My webcomic, The Legend of Jamie Roberts, updates tomorrow. The new page is going to drop at Ko-fi.com. No, it's going to drop at thelegendofjamieroberts.com. But if you want to see pages a day early, Ko-fi.com/KelciDCrawford. Folks on Ko-fi already have access to tomorrow's page. There you go. They also get to see the scripts for the comic, and they get to see the stages of the comic as it's being made in progress. They also get special shout outs whenever the book goes to print, like, say, for Kickstarters. And I'm going to be streaming again this Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sorry, I had a flash because saying Eastern Standard Time made me think of how there are Congress people talking right now about making daylight savings time permanent. And having lived in Arizona for 9 months a few years ago, I can say I think that might be a bad idea, and they should really make standard time permanent. Instead of having the spring forward be what everybody goes by, just have everybody go by fall back. Because then we can catch up on our lost hour of sleep. And also, a good number of states in the United States already observe standard time as permanent. It's just easier. But that's me. Anyway, all of that is to say, I stream every Tuesday and Saturday at 2 p.m. Next stream is going to be this upcoming Saturday at 2 p.m. I will be drawing... What am I drawing? Did I say Kitties by Kelci? I'm going to double check this so that I'm not contradicting myself. Yes. Okay. Yeah. This upcoming Saturday, I will be working on a project for a little side venture that I do called Kitties by Kelci. Now's a good time to bring up that Kitties by Kelci has a sticker sale going on because it's hosted on Redbubble, and Redbubble is hosting the sale. The sticker sale is 25% off your order of 5 stickers or more, 50% off your order of 10 stickers or more. To take advantage of that sticker sale for Kitties by Kelci, just head to tinyurl.com/Kitties by Kelci. There's also going to be a link in the YouTube doobly-doo. I think that's all the major announcements that I've got going on. Yeah, talking about the permanent one way or the other. At least we don't have to change clocks anymore. Happy either way. It's not official yet. They're still talking it over because this is Congress, remember? But it would be really nice to not have to change the clock like twice a year. That'd be really nice. And also, contrary to popular belief, it was not started by farmers. It was just started by industrialists who were trying to milk as many hours as they could get out of their workers. Okay. Sticker sale. tinyurl.com/kitties by Kelci. If you would like to see pages for my webcomic, The Legend of Jamie Roberts, today instead of tomorrow, you can just go to ko-fi.com/Kelci D. Crawford if you have the means to. Give once, give each month. Either way, you get access to the comics. Though if you do give each month, that does make making this a sustainable thing a lot easier. So with all of that said, keep an eye on my social medias. All of that will be at linktree/KelciD. Keep an eye on my blog, also at Linktree. Links also in the doobly-doo on YouTube. And then I will see you all Saturday, 2 p.m., same channels, for making some more Kitties by Kelci art. Thank you all so much for watching. You are awesome.